I'm picturing your office and that you have this board of like quests and the red tape or the red string is going everywhere trying to connect anything. And it's like, hats off to y'all, man. That's impressive design work. Yeah.
It's all in here.
On there,
No, not really. We have such board.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bandai Namco Podcast, where we are giving you exclusive deep dives into your favorite games with the people who make them possible. My name is Alex Stadnik, and I'll be hosting this beautiful podcast here. Very excited. This is the second part of our Blood of the Dawnwalker series. And if you missed the first one, go back and check it out. We'll talk about it more in depth later. But for today, we are doing a deep dive into the RPG mechanics of the Blood of the Dawnwalker, right? What makes this game tick? What makes its characters tick? What like side quests are you going to be encountering? All that kind of stuff. But I am a simple video editor. I cannot answer these questions. I need help with that. And to do that, I've brought on two beautiful guests here. From developer Rebel Wolves, we have Rafał. Welcome to the show. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, Alex. Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Good. I'm happy to hear it. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hey, everyone. My name is Rafał Jankowski, and I'm lead quest designer at Rebel Wolves.
Awesome. And of course, we have the talented Piotr with us as well. Piotr, hello. Welcome.
Hello. Good to be back. Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Piotr Kucharski, and I am one of the writers working in Rebel Wolves.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's just dive right into it. Like I said, this is a deep dive into quests, characters, and the day and night system, because these are three of the biggest things that we've seen online that people are talking about and are very interested in. So I think to kick things off, let's talk about Coen. Who is Coen?
Well, he's the main character of the game. Mm-hmm. He's the Dawnwalker, so he's half human, half vampire. But really, he's a young man from a peasant family that during the events of the game, he's pushed into a very, very unique situation. And starting from when he's half turned into a vampire, he will have to find his own way in the world. And of course, he'll have to save his family because they were taken by the main antagonist of the game, Brencis, who's the ruler of Vale Sangora. And who is he? I think that we want him to be a person, like a real person, someone who you can talk about in terms of the character, their flaws, their approach to people. We want to make him as humane as possible, but also struggling with the vampire side. So we think that it's a nice juxtaposition of character traits. Hopefully, the players will also enjoy seeing Coen, playing as him, and finding out what he's like and how they can change him during the game.
Interesting. Okay. Is he, at the beginning when we first meet him though, because many different heroes have many different temperaments, is he kind of happy-go-lucky? Is he already dark? Like, where is he kind of at when we first see him in this journey?
He is someone who had to grow up really quickly because his family, of course, we're not going to get into any details about it, but his family has quite a difficult relationship and they have problems, obviously. So Coen is someone who, on the one hand, wants to be a family member, someone who wants to take care of his family. On the other hand, he's still a young man trying to find himself, trying to find his way in the world and trying to find the middle ground between those two things.
Sure.
I could only rephrase what Piotr just said, really. Yeah. But let's get back to like Coen being a Dawnwalker, right? Again, human during the day with all our human like vulnerabilities, right? And vampire during the night when he gains like vampiric powers. This creates this really interesting dynamic in our gameplay loops, right? When you switch between those two modes of our protagonist, and during different time periods, you have to approach certain problems in a slightly different way, right? Because again, during the day, Coen has access to black magic, right? Dark magic. and these abilities allow him to solve problems in one way, right? At the same time, during the night, well, not necessarily during the same time, but yeah, during the night, he gains those powers for, as an example, allowing him to traverse like the game world in a little different way, right? You probably had an opportunity to see like the ability of Shadow Step, right? This teleportation at short distances, which again allows him to do things differently than during the day. And yeah, as Piotr said, Coen is like a hero at the very start of his, let's call it, career, right? He's a bit inexperienced, but at the same, smart, savvy, trying to, find himself in this completely new situation, right? Because, well, he became this Dawnwalker, and now he needs to face the challenges related to that. Again, the game is like planned as a introduction to a saga, right? So yeah, this is like an introductory story, both for Coen and for our players.
Cool. Let's talk about, so we have a solid idea who Coen is, right? And you've mentioned him, but who is the antagonist? Who is he going against to save his family and figure out what the heck is going on in this world?
Right, so the main vampire of the game is called Brencis. He's someone who, before the events of the game, decided to come out of the shadows and take rule over Vale Sangora. He's what we hope he will be a really interesting antagonist because he has his own ideas, his own morality, his own approach to things. Sure. We don't want him to be, as black and white. We don't want him to be, this tyrannic ruler that, okay, obviously he's the bad guy, let's kill him, right? We want the players to get, if they learn more about him, we hope that they will see the character in more dimensions than only one.
Sure.
He's also accompanied by his clique of other vampires, and we try to make all of them as unique as possible with their own agendas, their own characters, their own powers, of course.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I think that what we want to get as for Brencis is a character who is both monstrous, a villain, someone who the players will want to hate, but also someone with whom, when you get deeper inside his psyche and his background, you might come to, some very surprising ideas about the character.
Sure. And to be clear, he's featured in that first CG trailer, correct? Yeah. And I think there's a balance there, even there, where I was like, do I like this character? Is it, he's the vampire. He's not but he's acting in a heroic way in that moment.
This was the idea that, so the previous ruler, Skander, he was not a very nice man. Yeah. And the scene which we see in the CGI trailer shows the exact moment when Brencis comes in and says, enough is enough, kills Skander, obviously in a very brutal way, and de facto saves Coen. So, as you might imagine, there is also some really complicated relationship between those two because Brencis literally saved him.
Sure.
But then he snatches his family in some way. We're, of course, not going to spoil anything right now.
Sure.
So we hope the press will be like, what do I do? Do I like the guy? Well, maybe not. Sure. And it's up to them to decide.
Yeah. Can you talk about like some of the other key members of family, of the vampire troop? I don't know what there's
clique.
Flocks of birds, clique. Yeah, the posse of vampires that we have here.
Vampires. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Can you talk yet? Are you guys not there yet? Talking about some of his his confidants, his number two.
I believe we can talk about them to like some degree, right? Maybe not without getting into details too much, but like for example, in the gameplay demo that we published in June, players had a chance to see Coen fight Zanti. She's the oldest member of Brencis clique, oldest among the vampires, with her roots going all the way back to ancient Greece. And well, she is a powerful vampiress.
Yeah.
However you say it.
Vampires. Yeah.
So be it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like all the members of Brencis clique have their own storylines in the game, their own quests where we explore, where the players will have a chance to explore their background, what motivates them, and eventually they will deal with those vampires one way or another.
Sure.
So yeah, there is like the whole cast is interesting with like a deep background and with their own lore. And stories that we can't wait for the players to learn, to experience.
Well, and y'all, even in our last episode and this episode, y'all have illuminated that like there's a lot of ways to do things in this game. Yeah. And I'm curious, like with that amount of like different ways to handle a situation, how does the world evolve with some of those choices? Like, do you feel that world changing? Like what is the kind of the consequences of this kind of system?
Well, there will be some changes, of course. There is the let's call it notoriety system. So the more Coen does in the open world, there will be a reaction from Brencis and his people. Of course, we'll get more into detail about those in the future. But what I can say now is that there will be so-called edicts. So if Coen's notoriety goes up, there will be a reaction and there will be an edict from Brencis. So things can happen, like, for example, there will be more soldiers, some areas will be closed off. So there will be some reputation in which the players will very visibly see that, yeah, what I'm doing here is having an impact. But of course, if they want to play more sneakily, if they want Coen to be, keep things under the wrap and just, not draw a lot of attention, and then come out of the shadows and say, Brencis, I'm getting it right now.
Yeah. Which is a line of dialogue in the game, right? What you just said.
Obviously,
I'm getting you right now.
Yeah. You killed my father.
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. Obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I had a pleasure to actually co-design this system, this notoriety system, those edicts.
Oh, cool.
And absolutely, I love the idea. We wanted Brencis to be like a reactive antagonist, right? A reactive villain that doesn't just sit on his throne in the castle, but does react to what player does. And as Piotr said, certain activities in the world, right, will influence like notoriety meter, right? Pushing Brencis towards, activating, let's say, those edicts, right? And at the start, it's like a minor changes influencing how the game is played, but later on these effects are quite extensive, so quite strong, so to speak, and they will. The player will need to adjust how they play the game when they come into effect.
Interesting. As writers, as creators, as artists here, what is that like designing for that system, right? Because this isn't like film and TV, right? Where I mean, there's plenty of different assets to that too, right? But like, y'all are working with the art team, y'all are working with programming, you're all working with that. Like, what is that like developing that system, and like, what are some of like the challenges and the highs of that too?
Well, there's many highs. Honestly, like, I'm a quest designer through and through. And I absolutely love the challenge coming from those assumptions, those basic assumptions that we made, at the very start of the project. Again, the openness of both like the whole game structure and of every quest. It's something that I absolutely enjoy, working on, figuring out. It is challenging, of course, because as I believe spoke in the previous episode, those quests need to be secured, right? So that the player, if the player does that or that, jumps over some fence,
right? Yeah.
And we didn't. We have to foresee that, right? Especially considering those traversal abilities that we provided for Vampire kind, right? With the ability of teleportation comes many challenges when it comes to designing content, because suddenly, the player can simply, teleport over some obstacles. So we can't just put a fence and be done with it, right? And we absolutely hate the idea of invisible walls. We don't do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of design work, a lot of brainstorming necessary, to make sure that this non-linear content works in every situation that those our players will encounter, will cause with their actions.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Also, you mentioned working, with other teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think what is challenging, but also very rewarding, is that there must be a lot of trust between coworkers. Because, for example, let's say I come up with an idea of what a monster should look like, right? I have some idea when writing about it, the glossary entry and description of the monster.
Yeah.
I have some ideas what it should look like. I give those ideas to the art team, and then I get something completely different. But I know that those guys, they know much, they are much better in getting the design correctly than I do, because I'm just a lowly writer.
Well, give yourself more credit.
Okay, I know I'm middle ground, right? But there were cases when I sent something and they said, okay, but how about this, and this? And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Let's go with this one. And as I said, it takes a lot of trust.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of, pushing down your own ego, just saying, okay, you know what, I might not be right. And when those things just, get together and you see the final outcome, it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome when you see, for example, a concept art of a creature that you had only in your mind, and now you see it, and it might be different, but it's still really, really cool. So yeah.
For sure. Something you guys talked about in the other episode was the structure of this game. Once you're out of the prologue, it's kind of, you're in it, right? And you're, is there main quests? Is there side quests? Or is everything just kind of, you just do the thing until you save your family or you don't?
Everything in the, when it comes to content, quests, points of interest, other pieces of content, it's all, sort of a side quest, really. Because again, there is one main quest in the game to rescue your family.
Sure.
And how you want to achieve this goal is totally up to you, right? We do have story arcs in the game, right? Let's say series of quests, right? Leading us in that or different direction, but those are also optional. This is also optional content, right? So again, it's up to the player if perhaps they feel like going through this particular story arc, but instead they may want to feel like just exploring the world, finding some treasures, right? Some new powerful equipment in the old mines, the ruins in the forest. Maybe they want to focus. They feel like focusing on undermining Brencis rule, right? Because we have also content related to how the vampires operate, in the valley, how they make sure that it all works like one big mechanism, right? Because we just talked about Brencis. He wants the valley to thrive, because this means that this means blood, right?
Right.
Will be there for him to drink and grow more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty large departure from a lot of games, right? You're very much, main pathing, right? And then you have a bunch of side quests. Is that exciting for y'all? Is that intimidating as artists? Because you guys both have worked on other games in the past, but this is this feels like a next step for sure.
Again, for me as a quest designer, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy to be able to work on this sort of challenge, because yes, it is a challenge, to structure your content in such a way. But yeah, again, many different games simply offer the players a main storyline and some optional content on the sides, right? And here we wanted to do this a little bit different. We wanted this to be a little refreshing for the players, and again offer them sort of a pen and paper RPG-like experience. When, hey, dear player, here is the world for you to explore.
Sure. Well, let's dive into that, because you two in the previous episode both said like TTRPGs are a huge part of your lives, right?
Yep.
What are you pulling from with tabletop? Because like tabletop is beautiful because anything's possible. I can jump down a well, I can go fight this thing, I can run away, like, you know what I mean? Like how are you marrying that with some of the technical limitations of video games, right? Because eventually, you do find the wall somewhere in games. Is that,
Well, obviously, right? And you have to be really careful not to get into this, unending spiral of trying to get anything and everything, because it's simply not possible.
Right.
Come on. But what, for me, example, what being a GM and, playing those games really taught me is the anticipation. So there is in most cases, there is a limited number of options that the player would choose. Of course, if the player wants to, they can do anything they want to, right? But if you have a given situation that you really designed and crafted in such a way that will serve this purpose, you know that the players will have a limited number of options to do. Right. But the trick there is to not make it as obvious as possible. I don't know if you know what I mean. That the players still feel free. They still free. They have this option on the table. Exactly. But still, that you will not have to. That the story will go on the onto the path that you came up with. For example, when I play RPGs, as a GM, I believe that the story that is important is the story the players are creating. With computer games, it's different because there is a base story that you have to stick to because of the limitations, because of the medium itself. But still, you can try to add as many paths, as many options, so the players still feel that they are free to do what they want, or at least that they are free to play the game in their own way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would add to that that in pen and paper RPGs, and again, especially in those like open-ended campaigns, right? It's important to be able to like a bit maybe sneakily show the players the available paths, right? Because again, they could probably do whatever they would come up with, right? But at the same time, we don't. Most of the time, we don't want them to start a tavern, right?
Right.
In this last village that they visited, instead, we want them to either go this direction or that direction, right?
Sure.
And it's all about like providing them with these options, right? And similarly, when it comes to quests, right, we put a lot of effort into like creating an interesting hook for each of our quests, right? That from the very start of the given story, the player gets involved into it, right? Then the problem that they are presented with, right, should be interesting from the get-go, from the very start, so that it would make their imagination go wild and imagine, okay, perhaps I should spend this time, right? Because again, we have this time as a resource thing in the game. And we do want the players to feel this tension when getting involved with all our content, because, well, okay, it all sounds important, okay, but the question is if it's more important than that other piece of quest. And again, our quest hooks will keep our players on toes, I believe.
Right. But that flat structure, I think, adds to that level, right? It's like, there is no, killing boars or whatever. I mean, you can kill boars, right? But it is like you have to figure out for yourself what's important to you and to Coen and what you think his story is going to look like. That's fascinating. You mentioned it a little bit there, but like there's a day and night, not cycle in this, but a system in this, right? I think some people want to know maybe a little bit more. So we talked about it a bit in the other episode, but talk about what's important when writing that system. What can players expect from it? Why is it not like a ticking timer that they're like having to follow every time, like that kind of stuff? So
Sure. Well, maybe let's start with the basics. Like both day and night are divided into like time segments, and these time segments are consumed when player like finishes either a quest objective, right, or finishes like a point of interest. But it doesn't, like, time doesn't move forward during like exploration, right, of the world. When we just simply like stroll around the valley, it doesn't consume time at all. So it's only content. Well, content and some like gameplay activities.
It's a resource. It's not a clock.
Yes, it's a resource, not a clock, definitely. Yeah. At the same time, we don't want the player to feel rushed, because while Coen does have 30 days and 30 nights to rescue their family, it doesn't mean that when, exploring the world during that time, the time goes out, the game finishes. Absolutely not. Like it does continue after we reach this point in the story. So yeah, there is like no need to rush. Players should feel free to explore the world. Other thing, the challenges coming like related to our approach are of course many.
Of course. Yeah.
But one thing that comes to my mind immediately is like we had to find a right balance, right? Not every quest can be finished during the day, and not every quest can be finished during the night. There are, like, some of them are night and day only. And again, we had to find balance between this content to provide sufficient amount of content for the players who would prefer to play as human Coen or the vampire one. And at the same time, some of the quests we wanted them to be like so we wanted them to be flexible in these terms, right? Okay, you start something during the day, and sure, the night comes, right? And you can just continue the quest and experience like the other layer of it, right?
Could you continue it the next day too and get a different result, or is that the time mechanic? You've already used that time, and it's like you have to finish it now at this point. Does that make sense?
Well, like, the quest, obviously, like when you start a quest, right? Well, it has its own flow, right? So you got to like continue with it till the end.
Okay.
You can't really go back in time or anything like this. But as an example, if you started a quest during the day, right, and then the night came, right, you can get out of, like, leave it for now, right, and return.
Sure.
It's not always, it won't be always a good idea, because you consume content, you push time forward doing some other stuff, right, and things may happen in that time, right? Yeah. As an example, if someone's life is in danger, right?
Sure.
If you just leave him at that, right? If you just ignore this for a while, well, they may die.
Also, you have to remember that because the time is a resource, and it's the player's choice to use it, there will be a clear indication. If you choose this option, you will pay. Which also gives us an opportunity to come up with scenes in which, for example, the player may choose that, all right, I will pay with my time. And for example, I will make life easier for myself because I will, for example, help someone, right, and they will be more, agreeable to us, and they will probably help us in the future. We can also pay them with money. Okay. There's an option to that as well. So I have some money on me, I pay for it, I don't pay with time. But if I don't have the money, then my options are limited. Yeah. And of course, you can just say, okay, no, I'm not doing it. Sure. Or maybe there's some other option to get around this thing, maybe by, doing something, put more effort as a player into the situation, but maybe you will be able not to pay with the time because the game rewards you because you chose the more difficult path, right? But still, you get to the point, but then you save the time. So there will be different situations like this. Hopefully, it will all be clear, and the players will always know that, this is the point when you're playing with time, but you get something out of it.
Yeah.
So you can get, for example, more information as well. You can learn something. Sometimes it will be something that maybe is not as useful as, that pushes the quest to the, to the success.
Sure.
But, for example, rolls with some piece of lore that is like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, let me underline that we are doing our best to make this system, approachable, easy to understand, because we do realize that at the start it may sound intimidating, right? Hey, there is this time, pushing me forward, right? But we put a lot of effort into making it easy to understand, and we want this experience to be, a good one, simply a good one, right? Despite the challenges that we are facing, when designing such a system.
But I think these systems, right, are put in place to put a weight to these choices, right?
Yeah.
We've had plenty of choice RPGs based RPGs in the past, but this is like, make your choices and like live with them.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really interesting thematic resonance there that like I'm excited to see play out, and ownership, I feel, right? Because it's like, well, I could have went and killed, Vampirus over here, but I chose to do this, but now she's killed 40 villagers, whatever. This is an actual quest, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but
it's not, I confirm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm picturing your office and you have this board of like quests and the red tape or the red string is going everywhere trying to connect anything. And it's like, hats off to y'all, man. That's impressive design work. Yeah.
It's all in here.
On there. Yeah.
No, not really. We have such board.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. I think with the time we have left, I do want to get to know you two as writers, right? So it's like, what inspires you two as creators?
So I, for example, I'm a very strong believer into the show not tell idea. So I really try, for example, writing dialogues. I want the players to not be told what to feel, but to feel it. So they see the emotions, they hear what is, they see the context, but they not necessarily, the characters will not tell them, I'm sad, you should be sad too, because this is just shoddy writing, to be honest.
Right.
What inspires me? Good stories, to be honest. I hope that one day I'll be, in that place when I will be able to say that proudly that, we got you the Blood of Dawnwalker and hopefully enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because
what is a good story though?
A good story is something that I think that lives, rent-free in your head, that you come back to it, that inspires you. And it can inspire you to be many things, to do many things, to write your own stories, to make music. For example, if something gets you, creative juices going on and you just create something from it.
Yeah.
Even now, when we already get, fan art, we get music that people create. Yeah. I'm always so freaking excited when I see such things.
Yeah, that's special.
Someone even made those on our Discord channel. They put on those like knitted dolls of Coen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone is making those and other characters. And shout out to that person because they are awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But also, I think that a good story is something that is fun. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, life-changing. It doesn't have to be something that makes you a better human necessarily. Of course, if it does,
even better.
Awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it has to be something that you, after finishing it, you are like, yeah, I had fun. It wasn't a time wasted. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it will, stay with the audience.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't stay with the audience, but at the moment where they enjoy it, when they're playing it, they enjoy it. Yeah. I think this is a job well done already.
Yeah. Amazing. How about you?
Yeah, well, I'm an avid media consumer. Mm-hmm. I read a lot. I love to watch TV shows, movies, and I play many video games in my free time, of course. Mm-hmm. And I sometimes make this comparison of a brain, of a mind of a narrative designer writer. That it's a bit like a washing machine. You put all these different pieces inside of it, and you never know what's going to come out of it, right?
Sure.
Remember that white tea, it's red now. So yeah, I draw a lot of inspiration from the media that I consume, right? Because like when mix and matching different ideas, you come with something original, something new, right? Something that feels fresh, but at the same time it's familiar. It's you can track its roots to something, right? So yeah, lots of stories that I tell are like based on something that I of course had a contact with before, and now I'm trying to put a new interesting twist on it. And of course, yes, like stories like are super important part of the whole process, like consuming other people's stories. And of course, those good stories for me are those that make me cry.
There you go. Okay.
Or that make me angry, right?
Yeah. You're a man after my own heart.
Basically make you feel emotions.
Again, because I do believe that there is a certain truth to it, that good stories are those that evoke emotions in us, right?
I think that's all great. I think the final thing I'll ask you to is, I think it's impossible to create without putting a part of yourself into, the thing that you're working on, right? What's going to resonate in this game with a contemporary audience, with, the world at large? Like what's going to gel with people, do you think? Or like, what do you hope in your writing, like reflects either today, or like what are you looking for as a writer?
I really do hope that what will resonate with our audience is the main character. It's the obvious answer, of course, but as I said before, we try to make Coen as humane as possible. And of course, you as players will still have some options to mold him, to make him, follow chosen by you way of conduct, of morality, right? But what I really hope is that they will see Coen as a character who is, as I said, very humane, and also someone who is able to see other people, someone who's able to see their emotions, someone who's able to read them, because this is how we are trying to write him, that he's young, he's inexperienced, but he's also someone who is able to see what is pushing people to do what they do. So I hope that empathy is a thing that will stay with our players, and of course the awesome vampiric powers, jumping from the roofs, killing people, and bringing the rampage into Vale Sangora.
Right.
Hopefully that too.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, and I would say, of course, we want the story to resonate with our players. Like, absolutely, it's like a very basic, like our basic goal, right? We want the player to get very involved in the story. But I'll emphasize on our like main theme of the game, which is family. It's relatable. Again, Coen's family is in danger, right? Which means that hence the whole time system, right? It means that he needs to figure out how to help them fast, right? And also during this journey, face some facts regarding his family, his place in it, his personal responsibility when it comes to their well-being, and some stories from the past of his family too, because again, Coen is a predefined character with some backstory, and we do want to capitalize on that too. So we will also let the players learn a little bit more about what was happening with our protagonist before all this thing happened to him.
For sure. Cool. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of systems, characters, deep narratives. That sounds like the RPG for me. Obviously, y'all have a lot to talk about in the future. We can't hit on everything, but definitely be on the lookout for, more systems talks, more gameplay talks, like that kind of stuff. But gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Please, if you enjoyed this episode and haven't seen the previous one, go check out. We did kind of a 101 recap of what Blood of the Dawnwalker is. Check that out. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you enjoyed these type of talks, let us know over at Bandai Namco US, and then at Dawnwalker at X and Instagram. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks. And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.